And a good afternoon to you from Brunswick Community College. Today on YouTube, it's Dolphins basketball as we're back to action here with a scrimmage against Bryant and Stratton. The Bobcats coming down from the Virginia Beach, Hampton Roads area. Hi again, everybody. Chris Shima, glad to be with you once again. Today's broadcast brought to you by W. Davis Milligan CPA, and we thank him very much for his support of Dolphins athletics. So we are ready to go here in this scrimmage, and they didn't do starting lineup, so I'm going to attempt to give that to you here. We're going to see a lot of different rotations. This is not necessarily a regular season style game. They will be playing two 20-minute halves as normal. Then we're going to have a third 10-minute half as you see Bryant and Stratton with the ball. And Reese McDonald, the lone returner for Brunswick, coming up with the steal. Last year, McDonald over 5 points per game. He's wearing number 1 this year, number 2 last year. Moving on up to number 1. Reese McDonald has it now. Top of the key starts today with Jalen Johnson. He's number 5. Trey Cousin is number 14. I don't see anybody else out there right now as Johnson is long on the 3. Looks like Skylar Davies is also out there, and number 23 is Josiah Shackelford. So that's your starting 5 for the Dolphins. As you see, the Bobcats from Bryant and Stratton on their second possession of the afternoon. So several scrimmages, 3 here in the first semester, then a couple more in January as Dang is long on that 3. Rebound controlled by McDonald, who's a pretty good rebounding guard. I remember that from last year. This is Jalen Jackson back over to Reese, who directs traffic. Jalen Jackson started his career at Lenoir-Rhyne as he gets it back on the left wing. Just underway. No score yet as both teams are in their practice unis and trying to feel things out. That 3 ball off the back iron. Shackelford, the rebound. Put back comes up short. And as you can see, everybody's a little tight right now, trying to get back into it with all of the uncertainty, I think is the word of 2020. A lot of these teams not only getting settled later in the semester than normal, but obviously because of the COVID restrictions, as that 3 ball is banked in. So the first points of the game to Bryant and Stratton. That was Thompson, I believe, on the 3-pointer. Strong move to the bucket by Johnson for Brunswick. Jalen Johnson had his shot blocked. Jalen Johnson, 13 games at Lenoir-Rhyne, 19 points in his first year. That was back in 2018-2019 from Durham, North Carolina. 16 on the shot clock, a few minutes in here in this opening half. First of 2 scrimmages that we'll broadcast for you. Davies gets it over to McDonald, and it looks like the Bobcats are settling into the zone here this afternoon. Reese McDonald, man, can he dish it. This kid can ball. Over to Johnson. Now Cousin for 3 off the back of the rim with the shot clock winding down. Tip for the rebound, and that goes into the corner. Saved by Reese, and Davies with the hustle play that tipped that, then got it back. Now a quick 3. Again off the back iron, but Davies flies in with the putback. So 3-2 here in the early stages. Bryant and Stratton into the forecourt, moving quickly in the corner. That 3 is up and in by Buchanan. Cameron Buchanan makes it 6-2. Couple of 3-pointers for Bryant and Stratton. The Dolphins cold here at the start. Reese McDonald open because of the screen, and he buries a 3. And that's, one of the aspects of the game I bet Reese spent a lot of the offseason and the quarantine time working on. He was 30% from behind the arc last year, looking good on his first 3-pointer here in this scrimmage. That's Shackelford with the rebound. McDonald pushing into the forecourt. Good job by the Bobcats to get back on defense. So 6-5. Reese this time with the hand in his face off the side iron. Rebound controlled by Jalen Stewart from Petersburg, Virginia. Throws it long. The alley-oop underneath. That was Trayvon Gray off the alley-oop. 8-5 now, Bryant and Stratton. Folks, the YouTube chat is going. Feel free to give us a shout. I know we got a lot of coaches out there watching today's broadcast, either live or on demand. Hey, shout out your university. His cousin there, that's Trey Cousin, who was buckets last year at Franklin Prep, as he ties us up at 8 apiece. Steal there on the run out, Jalen Johnson. Nice fake, and nice job stopping and waiting. So the correct score is 10 now to 8 in favor of Brunswick. I have a little scrimmage going on of my own here as the alley-oop to Gray ties us at 10 apiece. I've got a whole new set of equipment here, folks, and those of you, the few of you that were with us last year with all the players moving on from last year's roster, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but I've got a little bit of an exhibition going on at the home studio where I'm broadcasting as well, so I apologize in advance if there's any technical difficulties. So, Coach Shaw mentioned to me the other night that it will be a 5-in, 5-out kind of a situation. Deontay Petrie is into the game, and also Tylen Green. We got Davier Dixon. And we'll tell you about the rest of the 5 here as they come at me. Number 30 is Jaron Hancock. And that 3 is off the back iron, offensive rebound. Keeps possession alive, and that was the aforementioned Hancock. Dixon from the half circle can't get it to go. Bryant and Stratton with the rebound. We are tied at 10 apiece, 14:47 left to go here in the first half of this scrimmage. Chris Sheeman, glad to be with you. The Bobcats coming down from, as I mentioned, the Hampton Roads area to take part in this scrimmage, get their feet wet as well. A lot of temperature checks and everything in place to keep the kids protected, as well as the workers. That was Christian Kuntz on the rebound, so he's the last player I forgot to mention. Driving in was Dixon. Dixon lost the handle, but underneath, that's Green, and then Green called for steps. So we remain even Steven at 10 apiece, and it looks like Cliff Coleman, the head coach for Bryant and Stratton, will sub, and Walter Shaw has sent in his 5. It's a smaller bench for the Bobcats. Walter Shaw has A.J. Rossi out, and I believe Brandon Johnson is also out. But 15 players active today for Brunswick. They're all going to see plenty of action here this afternoon. As I mentioned, 5-in, 5-out for the most part, at least in this first half. On the near side, it's Buchanan for the Bobcats. Takes it top of the key. Swings it right wing to Stewart. On the block, that's Glenn, and his shot is blocked out of bounds, and actually it's going to be a shot clock violation. We got Casey Anthony giving a shout-out to Lance Anthony on the YouTube chat. As I mentioned, the YouTube chat active. Feel free to, hey, if you're a coach, I want to hear, shout out your school. I got a funny feeling them coaches are going to be a little shyer than maybe some of the parents and fans might be. They're scouting in secrecy. Top of the key, open look is too strong for Green. Rebound by Jordan. Here comes Bryant and Stratton. We're still tied at 10. We've been there for a while. Buchanan tries to change that, and he does. Boy, that kid's got a stroke. He's 2 for 2, and we have our first timeout. We will step aside. 13:18 left to go here in this opening half. You're watching Dolphins basketball on YouTube. Dolphins basketball brought to you by our friend W. Davis Milligan. For all your tax needs, give that man a shout out. Speaking of shout outs, Marcus Graham is in the house, former Dolphin, 2010 champ, 2012 alumni, watching the young kids do some work here in this first scrimmage of the season. Chris Sheeman, glad to be back with you. Strong move to the bucket there by Dixon. Davier Dixon from Liberty Heights had an offer from Southern Miss at one point in 2018, and he is a kid with some speed, with some attacking prowess, as you saw right there. This is a deep Brunswick team this year, which has not necessarily been the case in years past, recent years past, of course, but and last year's Dolphins team is going to be tough to live up to. 22 wins is tied for 5th all-time in program history. There's 16 home wins last year. This team won't break that even if they go unbeaten because of the COVID restrictions, as Petrie misses off the back iron from 3. Deontay Petrie from Winston-Salem has a scrum for the basketball. Bobcats able to keep possession with 15 on the shot clock. Bryant and Stratton seen a lot of Mobley here midway through the first half. Couldn't get the runner, but the putback. That was Doherty Glenn, the Massachusetts recruit. So 15-10, Bryant and Stratton again. Both teams are in their practice jerseys, and we have lost the video. Folks, we're going to take a quick break here and see if we can't get that video going back. Okay, folks, so apologies there. A little glitch. Well, looks like it might be going out again. So, yeah, we had just a little bit of a glitch there. Dolphins hit a three-pointer while we were away, so 15-13, 11:25 left to go. And, yeah, they are, looks like might be having some internet troubles at the college, and I see our camera guy is focused on getting that fixed. We're going to step aside again just briefly here while they work on those kinks. Coach, folks, we're still having a little bit of technical difficulties with the live stream. We're going to try to get this going again, and folks, stay with us, and I'll update you here as soon as I can. Welcome back to Dolphins basketball on YouTube. We are having internet problems. It looked like from the way things cut out at the gym, and I know there's a lot of you who are sticking around. I would say that my hopes are not good that we can resume based on, well, just based on previous knowledge. That's our hope is to try to get this worked out at halftime. I'm trying to get a hold of somebody inside the gym so that I can coordinate with them. But as of right now, this one might be a wash, folks. I invite you to maybe stick around. But the fact that it hasn't come back at this point leads me to believe that it probably is not going to come back without a good amount of technical support. So, again, the internet down at the gym, folks. Wanted to mention too, if we are able to get this going, and if you don't want to wait around all afternoon for that to happen, obviously we understand that. The rebroadcast of the game, at least the second half, will be available on demand so that you can go back and watch. Folks, it's preseason. It's 2020. Can't say I'm shocked that the internet decided to die at the gym, but that's the situation that we're in right now. And again, we're going to try to get it back for the second half, and we'll update you here if we're able to do that. Just underway in the second half, 43-28, Brunswick Dolphins with the lead. Chris Sheeman back here. Is A.J. Rossi's family watching this at all? Because A.J. is doing the camera, and A.J. is the one who fixed the live stream for you guys. There are right now 32 extremely dedicated people who were watching a black screen through the most of that first half. And folks, I can't apologize enough for the technical difficulties that we had. We have them relatively worked out, we think, now. So let's hope that we can get back and bring you at least this second half. There is going to be a little bonus basketball in this scrimmage. So they played 2 20-minute halves, and then after this second half is over, we're going to have a 10-minute third period because it's a scrimmage and they want to get some guys some more work. So a big thanks to A.J. Rossi, our camera guy for today. The way this works, folks, is I'm actually in my studio calling this game in Florida. So if I can't see it and you can't see it, then I can't really call it. And this is something that we started to do last year with no problems whatsoever. And, of course, being the year that this is, our very first broadcast, it couldn't wait to mess up. But anyways, we have everything back. I have a way to contact AJ now if I need him, and we should be good to go in the second half. And again, folks, I thank you for this, for your patience here, helping us and staying with us that entire time. Kuntz from inside the lane got the bucket to go. The score on the scoreboard at the gym says 44-28 with 18:25 left to go here in this second half. How about that block there from Hancock, Jarian Hancock from Lee County High School, getting the big stuff, and then a turnover here by the Dolphins. We're going to make this up to you, folks, and I am going to make it up to you by doing a free broadcast coming up Saturday on the 7th of November. We were not planning on streaming that game against Combine, that scrimmage. We are going to stream that one for you, and we're going to get the kinks worked out between now and then. So those of you who were disappointed, I'm going to work for free for a day, and we're going to get you a full game if it kills us. So thank you again for your patience, everybody on the YouTube chat, and those of you who stuck around. So exactly 2 minutes into the second half, and the defense was certainly the name of the game for Brunswick in that first half. This young man, Cameron Buchanan, had the hot hand on the wing, and it looks like we might have another turnover here for the Bobcats. So nice to see a low-scoring defensive first half for Brunswick, allowing just 28 points now, 22 minutes into the ball game to a Bryant and Stratton team with relatively good offense. Good ball movement here. That was Walker to Gray, couldn't get the jumper. Correction, Petrie to Kuntz, who couldn't get the jumper. Offensive putback from the baseline by Green is no good. And it looks like Petrie might have poked that away. There's a scrum for the basketball, and we'll see what the call is here. They might have called a jump ball, but we'll wait for the official word. 17:33 left to go. And it looks like we're going to stay on this end of the floor. So wet spot out on the court. Set the 5 for you. Number 30, Jarian Hancock on the floor with Deontay Petrie. Oh, I thought they were going to stay on this end of the floor. My apologies. It's going to be Bobcat basketball. Xavier Dixon also starting this second half for Walter Shaw's Dolphins. Deontay Mobley on the right side. Set the rest of the 5 for you here in a minute. Jalen Jordan on the give and go from the Bobcats. That was pretty offense there for Bryant and Stratton as Jordan got it back. Dolphins into the forecourt. And going quickly to the bucket, that's Deontay Petrie. Petrie played at Liberty Heights. A few players from this new-look Dolphins roster from the Liberty Heights program in the Charlotte area. Both teams with 2 team fouls at the 16:30 mark here in the second half. Top of the key, Buchanan. Buchanan will go left of the lane, double pump, can't get it to go. Offensive rebound and put back by Glenn is no good. Ball batted around. Dolphins back out in transition. And a little awkward fast break, so they'll set up the offense, find an open three-pointer, no good, off the back iron. And here comes Buchanan into the forecourt, attacking and unable to score. Tip for the rebound. It's controlled by Bryant and Stratton as they get another bucket from Jalen Jordan, sophomore from Norfolk, Virginia. Good ball movement here for the Dolphins. Shot goes in and out. Kuntz, the putback, no. Kuntz will try it again. Stripped but fouled by Glenn. Christian Kuntz is another one of the Liberty Heights players I mentioned, joining Davier Dixon and a couple others, I believe. Petrie I mentioned from Liberty Heights. Kristen Kuntz also played at West Charlotte High School, averaged 11 points per ball game in 2017 and 18. Third team foul on the Bobcats, and both free throws missed. Tip ball comes back out to Kuntz. Jumper goes out and comes back in, so the lead back to 16 now for the Dolphins at 48-32, 15:50 left to go. AJ, wake up. Out in transition, it's a one-hand jam by, I believe that was Green. Yeah, Tylen Green. 50-32 now. The lead grows to 18 for Brunswick. Double pump again. Jalen Jordan has the last 6 points for Bryant and Stratton, and Cliff Coleman for the Bobcats calls time. See the time left on your screen, 15:22. We'll step aside here for a brief break. Today's game is brought to you by W. Davis Milligan, and we thank him for his support of Dolphins athletics. Chris Sheeman, glad to be back with you. So for the Bobcats, Jalen Jordan with the last 6 points of this second half for Bryant and Stratton, and the Dolphins still in control, however, leading by 16. Hancock underneath is fouled on his way up by Doherty Glenn, so he's going to go to the free throw line. That's 4 team fouls on Bryant and Stratton, so we'll play, if you're just joining us, the final 15-12 here in this second half. Then we're going to have an extra 10-minute period. Hancock is a double-double guy. Jarian at Lee County High School, 14 points, 10 rebounds, 2.2 steals, 1.4 blocks last year as a senior. Free throw shooting troubles continue for the Dolphins, but how about that? That was Kuntz falling away, got it in the foul. Mobley picking up a foul. That's 5 now on Bryant and Stratton. Christian Kuntz, the redshirt freshman, trying to complete the old school three-point play for the Dolphins. So Brunswick with 2 more scrimmages here in this first semester on the 7th of November against Combine. On the 14th against Patrick Henry. And a couple more scrimmages on January 9th at Pitt, and then on the 16th against Wake Tech at home. And then the regular season will start January 22nd. That was the approved NJCAA season start. Teams can play 22 games. The Dolphins will play 22, and 13 of those will be at home. So a lot of home games this year on the shortened schedule for Brunswick. And this is a free year of eligibility for everybody. Not only at the JUCO level, but in the NCAA and the NAIA, all levels of athletics. This is a freebie, which is going to be very interesting in terms of recruiting next year. We've had some subs. Number 4 is Lance Anthony into the ball game. Number 12, Austin Hadden. Number 3 is Cameron Lawson. He has the basketball going into the lane. Over to Davies, who's checking back into the game. Skylar Davies wearing number 35 on your screen. Off the turnover, here's Mobley kicking it out. Open 3 is up and good. Jalen Jordan has the last 9 points for Bryant and Stratton, 52-37. Dolphins still in control, though, as Lance Anthony brings it into the forecourt. Word of God product. Along with Shackelford, Josiah Shackelford, as Hadden gets the bucket attacking. Chad, are you still with us on the YouTube chat? I'm saying Hadden right, I hope. Please correct me if not. Austin Hadden picking up the foul there. That's 3 now on Brunswick. 54-37, and we're going to get a timeout by Brunswick, so we'll step aside. 13:51 left to go in the game. We'll be right back. Dolphins basketball is brought to you by W. Davis Milligan. Chris Sheeman, glad to be back with you. The score on your screen. Dolphins in control. As we get back to live action, it's Bryant and Stratton with the basketball. Mobley into the forecourt for them. Bounce pass goes over to Glenn, Doherty Glenn. I see it, Chad. Thank you. Hopefully he don't eat like John Madden. Smith on the elbow. Over to Jordan. Jordan's had the hot hand. Nice pass to Glenn. That was beautiful offense there for Bryant and Stratton. Obviously, because Jordan has been so hot in the second half, all Brunswick eyes went to Jordan, and that left Glenn wide open. Glenn and Jordan making the unselfish play. Here's Davies. Now Lawson. Mentioned this year's Dolphins team is much deeper than normal. You see them all crowded on the bench. Spain has come into the game. Number 24 is Cameron Spain from the Myrtle Beach area. As that 3-ball by, I believe it was Lawson, puts the Dolphins back up by 18, 57-39. Lawson picking up the foul now. Cameron Lawson, a good shooter at Clinton High School, 46% his senior year in 2018-19. Redshirt freshman is a kid who knows how to get buckets. So Glenn will inbound it. This is Mobley running the show. We've seen Deontay Mobley before for Bryant and Stratton and Cliff Coleman. Good point guard as Walker got bumped. Spain had something to say. Cameron Spain from the Myrtle Beach, Socastee area. He went to Socastee High School. Another double-double guy. When I talked to Walter Shaw about this year's team, he mentioned how good the rebounding was. And Shackelford, of course, is a guy who can give you 10-plus rebounds a night. Spain is a double-double guy. Fromberger is a good rebounder. Hancock is a double-double guy. And the defense went to sleep that time. Jalen Stewart getting the easy bucket, but Brunswick still in control. 12-17 remaining in the game as Anthony Oster-Dribble able to recover. And that was deflected off of Doherty Glenn, so we'll stay with Brunswick. Reese McDonald checking back into the game. Last year in limited action, although Reese did start a few games because of some injuries, just a shade under 4 assists per ball game for Reese McDonald. I remember last year looking at his plus 48, and his assists were something like 70, something like that a game. It was he contributed off the bench mightily, let's just say. We have another foul on Bryant and Stratton. That's number 7 on them. Skylar Davies going to the line. The Coastal Christian product from just up the road in Wilmington. Normally his folks would be there. I'm sure they're probably watching the stream if they stuck around. Hey, welcome back, those of you who came back to us. Shout out to A.J. Rossi, the camera guy, for working through and troubleshooting with me. So Davies gets the first. Second off the back of the rim. The free throw shooting has not been great for the Dolphins today. That's about the only nitpicky thing you can say here in this scrimmage. Stewart spinning in the lane off the back iron, and he's fouled, so Jalen Stewart will go to the line and shoot a pair. Everybody knows that North Carolina is where it's at when it comes to basketball. It's a mecca along with Florida and obviously Indiana and all their history. Even Ohio, California, of course. You don't want to forget about the West Coast. But Virginia is an underrated basketball state. And that young man, Jalen Stewart from Petersburg, is likely to find himself at a 4-year school. Mentioned, because this is a free year, he can also choose to come back to Bryant and Stratton if he doesn't find what he's looking for. It's going to be really interesting, the recruiting over the next few years, really. Because it's going to create a logjam. And I'm all for it, by the way, as Reese McDonald hits a 2. That was a 2-point shot by Reese from the corner to make it 60-42. You know, in this uncertainty, it's only fair that these kids have some options. We all kind of need that right now, don't we? Some options, some alternatives, things to consider going forward. And giving these kids that extra year of eligibility puts them into position where they can do that as we have another timeout. At the same time, you know, you're a kid in high school or you're a junior college kid looking to move up. The margins have become razor thin now because, you know, the kids at the junior college have an extra year, but so do all those kids in the NCAA and the NAIA at all the four-year schools. So it's going to be very interesting, and I'm curious to see how it all plays out. It was the right thing to do, certainly, for baseball and softball last spring when they just had their seasons completely taken away. And I don't want to say taken away necessarily because there was certainly reasons for it, but back to live action we go. Dolphins facing a full court press, and the deflection by Smith for Bryant and Stratton. Now coming over is Anthony trying to take it back. Bobcats stay with it. Can't get the bucket, though. Tipped rebound. And Lance Anthony brings it into the forecourt. He's doubled up. Hadden, turnaround jumper. Can't get it to go. Inside 11 to play here in the second half. We'll have a 10-minute extra period after we're done. Stewart, catch and shoot for three. Got it to go. And Bobcats trying to hang around. Dolphins have been up by 18 numerous times here in this second half, but the Bobcats have shot the ball better here in the second half than they did in the first half, we assume. Another foul is called, though, and they cannot stay out of foul trouble. So going to the line now is Austin Hadden. Attended South Georgia Tech last year, another junior college program, 5.6 points per ball game, shot 45% from the field, but missed that home cooking. Get back to North Carolina, a little closer to home in Charlotte. Able to connect on both free throws to put Brunswick back up. Sub in for the Bobcats. Number 24 is Diarve Boone, I believe. Some of their jersey numbers, because these are practice jerseys, are not quite lining up with the roster. That was Jalen Morris missing. In transition, Hadden. Anthony. Back out, Hadden. Hadden stripped. Defense starting to pick up for Bryant and Stratton. Saved over to Smith in the forecourt. Stewart almost lost it. Mobley had it blocked. Good defense there. Cherry picking is Anthony. Anthony had to save it. Did he throw it up? We won't call that a shot. The home team cuts my check, so I'm not calling that a shot. I'm going to call that a save, but I think he was trying to shoot that. Trying to make something out of nothing there, Anthony. Either way, bad possession, and Smith for three. Can't get it to go. There's Anthony with another rebound. He'll bring it into the forecourt now. Past the midway point, 9:22 to go. Anthony to Davies. Davies got caught up. Good defense there for the Bobcats. Morris, the mid-range, can't get it to go, and we're going to get an over-the-back call on Brunswick. That's team foul number 6, I believe. We'll check it. No, that is 7. So both teams are in the 1-1 now, or the final 9:07. I'm not quite sure how the fouls will match up in the third extra 10-minute session that we're going to play, but Jalen Johnson checking back into the game. Josiah Shackelford returns. A few other subs in for Brunswick that we'll talk about here in a moment. Front end of the 1-1 is no good. Brunswick back into the forecourt now. Jalen Johnson running the show. Looking for McDonald on the near side of your screen. 8:53 remaining. Reese trying to split the defenders. Almost lost it. Able to recover, though. Looking in for Shackelford. Good box out. Instead, it's over to Cousin. Frohnberger with the fake. Driving and scoring. Close to a travel, but Cameron kept that pivot foot down, so nice offense there for the red shirt. Cameron Frohnberger. Driving is Walker. Open look, and the three by Stewart is no good. Here comes Brunswick off of that Shackelford rebound. Shot up and no good that time. I believe that was Jalen Johnson. And we've got a Bobcat turnover now. Johnson on the near side of your screen. This is McDonald top of the key. Bounce pass by Cousin goes to Shackelford. Yes. Nifty moves there. And yeah, if that name does sound familiar to you, yes, he is a relative of Charles Shackelford, the late Charles Shackelford. Interesting story and a man who just never really had a great shot in life, did he? He certainly had his problems, but played for NC State on those great teams and for the Philadelphia 76ers. And I saw an interview with Josiah talking about Charles Shackelford, who I believe was his uncle. Folks on the YouTube chat, you step in and tell me when I'm wrong about something, but I believe that's what I recall from reading that article. Shackelford getting the rebound there, and Uncle passed away way too soon, but unrelated, by the way. I should mention to any of the problems that he had in his life, but certainly had the talent, played a good many years with the 76ers and a few other NBA teams. And Shackelford in that interview saying, you know, my goal is to make my own name, understanding that legacy, but good head on his shoulders. This young man, Josiah Shackelford, and I mentioned he's another Word of God product. Also played football for Word of God. 7:11 left to go. It's 68-47. The Dolphins, their biggest lead here in this second half. AJ, wake up for me, brother. AJ only wants to stream the offense for the Dolphins here today. We're not worrying about what they're doing on defense right now. There he is. He's awake again. I believe Bryant and Stratton hit a 3. Like I said, folks, we got some kinks to work out. I appreciate your patience with this first broadcast. It's a scrimmage for the players. It's a scrimmage for us as well. So we're going to come back better and bigger in future broadcasts, I promise you. Johnson picking up the foul. Both teams are in the bonus. Jalen Stewart, it's another 1-and-1 for him. You know, just to put a bow on that Josiah Shackelford conversation as Frohnberger skies for that rebound. We're getting to the point where there's going to be so many NBA players. Nice move, Trey Cousins, who is a bucket machine. I mentioned earlier, 25 points per ball game at Franklin Prep last year. But we're getting to the point where there's going to be so many North Carolina players in the NBA that All these kids are going to be relatives of former NBA players. Walker for three, can't get it to go. It's a long legacy, too. That's not recent developments. North Carolina and the NBA have North Carolina's been producing a lot of NBA products, I should say, for quite a while. With the hand in his face, Coots buries the triple, and Brunswick is rolling. 5:41 left to go. 73-50 Dolphins. Looking good. Walker on the left side. Catch and shoot. And that's Stewart again for three. Boy, some of these sophomores for Cliff Coleman, Jalen Stewart, Mobley, Jalen Jordan, these are guys who I've seen a couple of times, and they look better. A lot of these kids, hey, there is no reason not to come into this, we'll just call it the 2021 season, much stronger than you were as a player, because I'm sure a lot of these kids were hitting the courts with all that freak time. Buchanan's been firing away, missed that one. Rebound by Frohnberger, I believe. Couple of bigs on the court at the same time for Walter Shaw. Oh, look at that pass and jam. Shackelford from Johnson. What a play that was. That's going to be one of the things for those of you who are back with us from last year as the Dolphins go back up 22. We've added instant replay, and the next opportunity I have, we are going to take a look at that bad boy again, because that was beautiful offense. And it looks like that's going to be right now. So let's go to the instant replay and see what happens on the court at the same time for Walter Shaw. Oh, look at that pass and jam. You can see the dunk Shackelford right there from Johnson. Oh, brother, is anything going to go right for us today? Well, that was instant replay, folks, but nice offense there. And if you're playing for Walter Shaw, you're going to be an unselfish point guard, and you're going to share the basketball. And Johnson there to Shackelford. Pretty. See if we can't take a look at that at the same time. There we go. Full screen. Look at that pass and jam. Come on. Beautiful play. Some subs in. Davier Dixon checking back in. Deontay Petrie is also into the game. So 75-54 with 4:12 remaining here in this second period. Chris Sheeman, glad to be with you. This is Cameron Lawson back into the game. Good afternoon for him. Everybody getting their feet wet. Petrie attacking. Petrie coming back to take it away. Got it over to Green. Green the putback, no, but it's followed up underneath by Christian Kuntz. And he is fouled. Stewart with the fouls at 10. Yeah, we're in the double bonus now, the Dolphins. Over to final 3:50, and then possibly in that 10-minute period. I'm not quite sure if they're going to reset the fouls or not. Kuntz off the back iron. Getting 1 out of 2. Some light pressure there for Dixon, Davier Dixon. Dang into the game, fires a 3 off the back of the rim. Tabhan Dang, the sophomore, 6'8", 200 pounds for the Bobcats, is from Anchorage, Alaska, as Dixon gets the 3 to go. That young man came a long way to play junior college, almost literally the entire length of America, all the way from Anchorage, Alaska on the west coast, the far upper northwest coast, down to the Hampton Roads area. Dang. I mentioned it in the first half. I graduated from Bowling Green in Ohio, and we had a wide receiver, Cole Magner from Anchorage, Alaska, and every time his family came in, they would bring us fresh salmon all the time for the athletic department. And I don't know how they must have brought just a frozen cooler on the plane or whatever, but it was delicious. Both free throws are good as the free throw shooting has picked up here in the second half. Dixon going quickly. Here's Kuntz with a hand in his face. Almost got it to go. Rebound controlled by Morris for the Bobcats. Morris, step back three. And that was just a bit short. Dolphins going quickly here. That bucket no good. Here come the Bobcats now. Track meet starting to break out. Running and gunning both teams. Neither one coming up with much of anything as Morris couldn't get it to go. Dang with the putback, and I believe we're going to have a timeout. So 2:37 left to go here in the second of three periods. We will step aside with Brunswick in control. Chris Sheeman, glad to be with you. So there is a look at the schedule, and as I mentioned, I have to get approval from Coach Shaw first, but I think he'll be on board. My plan right now is to add that Saturday, November 7th game against Combine, so to the streaming schedule. But there's the rest of the schedule, and we're going to do as many home and road games as we can. As our schedules allow. But definitely all the home games on that schedule we will have for you right here on YouTube. If you haven't done so already, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. And I want to mention one more time, just in case, big thanks to our sponsor today, W. Davis Milligan. For all your tax needs, if you're in that area, give him your business, please, or just give them a call. Search them on Google and give them a call and say, hey, thanks for doing your part to help Dolphins athletics. How can we support you in return? This is the kind of year, folks, where things like sponsorships and those kinds of things, they're tough to come by. So those people who are supporting us, making these games free. You know how many schools charge to watch these games? Can you imagine, as Dixon had that three ball go in and out, if you had to pay and then we lost the last 13 minutes of that first half, you'd want your money back, right? Again, it's sponsors like W. Davis Milligan, all the sponsors and the signs that you see. All of those people have supported Walter Shaw's program over the years, and I know a lot of his alumni give back to Coach Shaw and help him. Coach Shaw is not dealing with a big budget program here. This is a small budget, and every little bit helps. So we want to thank not only W. Davis Milligan, but all of our sponsors here in this 2020-21 season, especially this year. Nice bucket by Dang. They're going to the big man, Bryant and Stratton. Some pressure being shown here for the Bobcats. Brunswick has been relatively successful. A couple of turnovers maybe off the press, but I got to tell you, I'm excited for this Dolphins team after getting a good look at them here today in this scrimmage, man. This is a team with the capabilities of doing something special. I mentioned last year's team is going to be in the record books for a long, long time. Part of the problem in recent history for Brunswick, as Xavier Dixon gets the first free throw to go, has been that tournament, that region tournament. They've gone out a little quicker than I think teams in the past should have. Wanted to give a shout out to all of the players who have moved on. Walter Shaw sent 8 players to NCAA schools, 2 to D1s. That's Najee Thomas at Hampton. And Jeremiah Pope, man, was he a killer shooter. Jeremiah Pope at Ryder. Scarborough, Adrian Scarborough, Corey Rutherford, Trayvon Spencer, Derek Wiley Jr., Jordan Furlow, and Jordan Campbell all going to D2 programs. Furlow and Campbell at Georgia Southwestern. Spencer and Wiley Jr. at Barton. Rutherford went to Shaw, and Scarborough to Glenville State. And a few of those CIAA schools. So congratulations to all those young men. Silas Love, by the way, who played last year and became the program's all-time leading scorer, signed with an agent. He's looking to go overseas, and I haven't heard from Silas in quite a while. It's been several months, but I certainly hope that that is going forward, because he is a young man who can certainly do something with his basketball talents. And I know a lot of players who went pro and not necessarily thinking NBA, but thinking along European, playing in South America, playing in China, playing in all of these great countries, and having that opportunity to see the world and experience new cultures. And I'm a little bit jealous of them. That's a great way to make a life, and they do make a life. They don't get rich, it's not even G League salaries in some cases, but they make a good life for themselves, and they do make money, and they're treated like royalty in some cases, depending on where you play. So good luck to Silas Love as he looks to pursue a professional career, and somebody should sign him. We're coming down to the end of it here as Hancock is fouled. Nice pass by Petrie. Again, we're going to have another 10-minute period after the second half comes to an end, so don't go anywhere. We're not done when the final 26 seconds run off the clock. I'll tell you this, if Silas Love doesn't have a contract, I'm going to buy a team somewhere, wherever he wants to go, and put him on that team, and we're just going to run Europe. Nice offensive rebound there by Green, I believe it was. Those are the hustle plays. There's 20 seconds left. Yeah, there's that extra period, but you're coming down to the end of your first scrimmage. It's those hustle plays that if you're Walter Shaw and you're sitting on the bench, provided that poor man isn't worrying about whether our live stream is working or not. He was heartbroken, folks, when we had those technical difficulties, so please don't email him anything mean. Just, if you're mad, you can email me. That's fine, but we got it fixed, Coach. But, those hustle plays, those extra rebounds off of a free throw miss, those are the things that if you're Walter Shaw, you're sitting there, okay, this kid's playing. Who wants these minutes? This is a deep team. All of these kids are talented. We've seen everybody today except obviously AJ, who's helping out with the camera, and I don't think Brandon Johnson was active today because of an injury. But we've seen everybody, and they can all ball. If you play basketball, you know when you're on a good team, those practices are fun. I'm learning that. I'm telling this secondhand, of course, because I was never on a good team. But I've heard stories. Hancock with the rebound had it stripped away. A couple of putbacks no good, and the second half is going to come to an end. As I mentioned, we have another 10-minute period coming at you, folks, so don't go too far. We're going to step aside here for just a moment. We'll come back with our extra time period here in just a moment. Dolphins basketball on YouTube is brought to you by our friend W. Davis Milligan, tax attorney. We thank him for his support. On to this final third 10-minute period we go. Opportunity to get some extra time out on the court for some players as Davies misses the three. 9:46 left to go, just underway, and we will wrap up this first scrimmage. It's going to be a Dolphins victory, barring anything remarkable. Win certainly not the most important thing here in this scrimmage, but it always feels good to get that W. Bucket and a foul there. I believe that's Jalen Stewart. Can't complete the three-point play. Rebound controlled by Davies. So Davies is out on the floor with Spain, Anthony, Kuntz, and Hadden. That's the five on the floor for Brunswick. They did reset the fouls, by the way. You can see it there on the top right of your screen on the scoreboard. Both teams with one team foul apiece. We've seen quite a few fouls in that second half. Skylar Davies will inbound it. Lance Anthony played at Word of God with Shackelford. That is a name with some, man, Christian Kuntz. Some of these guys hitting these shots that are well defended. That's been the most impressive thing for me. Kuntz has had a couple of shots where that defender's been right on him. We're going to get a timeout by Bryant and Stratton, so we'll step aside just about a minute into this third 10-minute period. We'll be back. One of the 50 or 60 things I love about Walter Shaw is he has kept detailed records of Brunswick Dolphins basketball. And if you go to Brunswick, cchoops.com, he's got the whole record book right there for you to check out. It's nice just to page through. You have all the timeline and history. Walter Shaw has really built this program, and he has been at the helm since the beginning, either as an assistant or head coach. Buchanan has shot well from three. He gets another one for Bryant and Stratton. Just underway here in this third extra period in our first scrimmage of the season. Spinning and scoring. How about that play by Hadden, I believe that was. Austin Hadden with some nifty footwork in the lane, staying in control. Hadden has it now top of the key. Here's Davies. Davies drives left of the lane. Got caught up in the air, and that was blocked out of bounds, it looks like. Dang had a hand in that for Bryant and Stratton. Looks like the officials are talking about this. Yeah, I wasn't so sure that it didn't go off Brunswick. They're going to get together and talk about it. Now, Cliff Coleman wants an explanation. Might be an issue with the clock as well. Okay, looks like we're all in agreement here. Dolphins basketball, 11 to shoot. Anthony in the corner. Davies. Kuntz driving in. Shot clock was at 1. Had to make something happen. Came up short. Here comes Bryant and Stratton now. Stewart cross court to Buchanan for 3. Can't get it that time. Put back no good by Dang. And here comes Brunswick in transition now. Kuntz for 3. Missed it front rim. Rebound controlled by Dang. Stepping right, Jordan had the hot hand briefly in the early on in the second half. Jordan had 9 straight for his team, and we have a Bobcat player shaken up. So Jordan couldn't get the bucket. Now play is stopped as Bobcat player shaken up. I believe that's Gray. Walking gingerly, but looking like he's going to try to stay in the game. If it's an ankle, as you know, sometimes the best thing to do is just kind of walk it off. You don't want to go to the bench and let it tighten. We're speculating, of course. Once again, folks, visit BrunswickCCHoops.com. Any schedule changes, obviously things like that can happen as we're still dealing with this pandemic. You'll get all the latest info there. Latest live streams as well will be available. Okay, back to live action. 7:19 left to go here in this extra period. Going right to the hoop is Hadden, unimpeded, and got fouled at the last second. So the Bobcats made the choice not to play defense at all until the very last second with the reach out, and now Hadden with an opportunity for an old school three-point play. Can't get it to go. Dolphins still well in control, though. 7:05 left to go. This is Jordan with the fake. Jordan dumps it underneath looking for Dang, and it's last touched by the Bobcats out of bounds. I think the strangest thing for me this year is going to be the lack of the Holiday Classic. It's played every year at Brunswick, and I believe we might have missed something there on the other end. Looks like another foul was called. Spain got called for the offensive foul. Not sure what happened, obviously, but it is a turnover. Okay, Zebras, let's swallow those whistles. It's a scrimmage, after all. Let's let them play a little bit. Bobcats got a long way to go home. I think we're going to get another timeout. So 6:49 left to go here in this third period. We will step aside once again. Today's broadcast brought to you by W. Davis Milligan, and we thank him for supporting Dolphins athletics. Chris Sheeman, Glad to be with you. Out of the timeout, play set up for Doherty Glenn, who gets the bucket and the foul. Brunswick in control. On their way to win number 1 here in the scrimmage portion of the schedule. Again, the next scrimmage on the 7th of November. All the scrimmages on Saturdays, then on the 14th. And my plan is to live stream all of those, both of those, I should say, for you. Talk to Walter Shaw, make sure that he can have a camera person in place for that game on the 7th. 6:26 left to go here in this third extra period. Reese McDonald back into the game. Joining Spain, Davies, I believe Anthony is still out there, and Hadden. That's the 5 right now for your Dolphins. Turnover there for Brunswick. Brunswick's been in control for most of this game. Dang had it poked away. It's a steal now by Anthony. Anthony trying to take it on Dang. Threw it up. We'll call that a pass to Davies. A bit off the mark, though. Davies tried to tip it up, but here comes Bryant and Stratton. They're going to dump it underneath for Dang again. Dang had trouble with it, and his hands might need a little bit more work. Part of his game, I've seen that a couple of times now for Dang turning the ball over. Near side, Reese McDonald. There's Hadden. Bounce pass to Reese on the left side now. Reese takes it baseline, looking to drive. Defender Stewart stays with him. It's swung over to Anthony, 9 on the shot clock. Anthony's bounce pass off the mark. It's a steal. Buchanan throws it ahead. 3-on-1, and the easy bucket there for, that was Stewart. First time under 20 in a while for the Bobcats. Here's Davies, and he's going to be bumped. Boy, are we really going to go into the penalty in a 10-minute period? It's both teams with 3 team fouls midway through it. And they calling. Both teams are bringing in the farm here, so we have multiple subs. Julian Smith coming in. D'Arve Boone, I believe, into the game for the Bobcats. Frohnbarger is in, as is Cousin. They join McDonald. Shackelford, I believe, came back into the game as well, as you see him miss right there. And I'm missing one more player. I'll get him. I believe Jalen Johnson is the 5th guy who I forgot to mention. Offensive foul. No, correction, a foul on the Dolphins, I believe. So we have another timeout. We will step aside, just about wrapping it up here in this first Dolphins scrimmage. We'll be back. Well, if you're a D2, D3 NAIA and you don't have anybody commentating on your games, I can help you out. Rates start at just $60 a game. There's my website for more. Today's game is brought to you by W. Davis Milligan, and we thank them for their support. Chris Sheeman, glad to be back with you. 4:37 left to go here in our extra period in this first Dolphins scrimmage. Appreciate you for sticking with us through some technical difficulties in the first half. Morris from the free throw line got it to go, and Brian Stratton is making it interesting, if nothing else. Dolphins have been in control for most of the afternoon, but credit the Bobcats. And again, it's a scrimmage, but it's got the feel of a pretty decent regular season game. Both teams fighting hard. Looking for McDonald was Johnson. McDonald can't get the three. In transition, Shackelford. Oh, he went behind the back looking for Reese. Not a bad idea. Couldn't quite convert. Smith can't get the floater in the lane. Ball tipped out. This is Boone. Floating it up, can't get it to go. Shackelford this time able to corral the rebound. Jalen Johnson throws it ahead in the forecourt, and it's intercepted. And I think one of the benefits of these scrimmages, you're kind of seeing it there in some of these turnovers, is a lot of these kids are kind of getting used to that pace of play again, especially if they haven't played. Certainly, if the high school season or college season was cut short last year, you're looking at 7-8 months, and the timing sometimes takes a little while. Another turnover there for the Bobcats. So you're going to see a few more turnovers this time of the year. But it's all building towards something for the Dolphins, and the Dolphins have their eyes set on the national tournament. They want to win this region. Jalen Johnson's bounce pass is taken away. Frustration foul there. I don't think they're keeping track of the player personal fouls at this point. So I think they're free to use them, as we're just under 3 minutes to go here in this extra period. Boone running the point now for Cliff Coleman's team. Bryant and Stratton is in the same region as Brunswick. They are in a different division, though, so these two teams usually meet at the Brunswick Holiday Classic that I alluded to earlier, meeting instead in scrimmage fashion here in 2020. Those of you who are new to junior college athletics, you can be in the same region, but not in the same division. There's 3 divisions, just like the NCAA and the NJCAA. And how about that turnaround three? That had J.R. Smith all over it. I'm sorry, Jalen. That was driving now, Walker. Brunswick looking to get out on the run here. And the layup is up and good. I didn't know if he'd get it off to Shackelford or not, but that was Frohnbarger with the bucket. Now another steal. And Shaq with the dunk. He has the size. He has the athletic ability. Kid's got an opportunity to do some things. Great defensive play there. That was a Cousin with the defense. Shackelford again can't get it to go. Nearing 1 minute to go here in our final period. Quick trigger three by Morse. Jalen Morse from Baltimore, Maryland, from way downtown. So the Dolphins will win here in their first scrimmage, as we're about 50 seconds from the final buzzer. most importantly is, number one, health, and number two, giving these guys an opportunity to get their feet under them. Boy, Reese was one of my favorite players last year, and what you just saw there is a big reason why. Making those hustle plays, the 6'2 guy getting the rebound over everybody, hustling in. Wide open three, no good. That's going to go off the Bobcats, and with 22 seconds, we'll see if the Dolphins don't run this out here. So again, folks, the next scrimmage is on the 7th of November. That's a Saturday. It's a noon start against Combine. Since we had some problems today, I'd like to bring you that one on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check out BrunswickCCHoops.com for all of the information. Ooh, hard foul there in the closing seconds. That's why sometimes I'm a fan of just running it out, but everybody's okay, so knock on the wood for that. That's going to send Cousin to the line. If for some reason we do not have that live stream for you on the 7th, then we will definitely have it for you on the 14th against Patrick Henry. And that'll conclude our scrimmage live streaming, and then we'll get back to it when the regular season starts later in January. Really good showing today for the Dolphins in their first scrimmage, first opportunity with 14 out of the 15 active guys, brand new, playing together and looking like they've been together for a while. Trey Cousin, how about the job he did at Franklin Prep last year? Putting up buckets there and here. Looks like the score is a little bit off. 94-75, I believe, is going to be your final. So the Dolphins winning their first scrimmage, and as I mentioned, a lot of positives today for Brunswick. So we're going to go away. Again, our next potential scrimmage live stream is on the 7th of November against Combine at noon. Our definite next stream for you on the 14th of November against Patrick Henry. Folks, want to say a big thanks again to A.J. Rossi for working with me and fixing the issues we had in the first half. Want to thank you all for watching, too. Really appreciate you sticking around for us. Hopefully you enjoyed a Dolphins victory here today. 94-75 is your final. We'll talk to you again here in a few weeks. Take care, everybody.